Hello YouTubers, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're going to take a look at the Ganzo G735-YB. We're taking a look at this knife because I just really like this knife. It's actually my first Ganzo review for this channel. Let's talk about the blade. That's the thing you really want. It's got a fine edge, no serrations. 3.5 inches, that's 9 centimeters of cutting edge. It's a drop point blade. I don't know if you could call that a clip point. It's made of stainless steel, 440C. If you can see, if it focuses, 440C, it's got the name of the blade right there, the G735. It's got a nice stone wash. I don't mind a stone wash. This stone wash isn't over the top. It's just a very nice little stone wash. We've got dual thumb studs for left or right hand opening that work very well. I can't quite flick the whole thing open with my hand. I can if I employ my wrist and can open that way. It's a little hard to do underneath this apparatus where my camera is, but it's easy to flick all the way open when you're out in the open. You'll probably want to open and close it about 100 times when you get it, to work it in. It's pretty tight. The access lock is really tight, and put a little oil in there and or some kind of grease, whatever your preferred lubricant is, and work it back and forth about 100 times, and you're going to enjoy this knife much more after that. It's got a nice detent to hold it closed. Let me show you here. I'll just push lightly on the blade and it grabs at about 1.5 inches out and just pulls it back. When it's closed, you're going to be hard pressed to have it open up on you. If you really fling it with your hand, you might be able to get it to open. It's going to stay closed in your pocket. So that's the blade. Oh, its thickness, it's not quite an eighth of an inch thick. Little over 3 millimeters thick, and the thickness goes right to the end. It's got a strong tip. They did the heat treat very well. I don't have any wood here to show you, but I jammed this thing into some pine several times quite hard and rocked it back and forth, and this tip is pristine. It didn't affect it at all. It's a really good cutter. To cut softwood is no problem to if you want to use it to do any, little bit of carving or whatever, if you have it with you and you're out and about. The cutting edge just flies through paper. I don't do samples of cutting paper on my videos. If a knife can't cut paper, I'm not going to show you that knife. This is a really good knife blade from Ganzo. A very standard blade for Ganzo, meaning they give good blades with their knives. Let's talk about the rest of the knife other than the blade. Let's start with the liner. It's got a stainless steel liner, a liner throughout. There's no cutouts, and so the weight isn't helped by that. We'll talk about the weight in just a minute. It's got G10 scales, yellow with black on top, and then the black has been taken out in a few places to make this thing visually just stand out. If you drop this knife on a dark, rainy day, at nighttime in the woods, wherever, your chances of finding it again are very high. This is a really good color combination. The clip. The clip is a very deep carry clip. I'll get my hand out of the way. You can actually see it better without my hand, can't you? It goes right to the top there. It holds nice and tight. You could change the clip from right-hand carry to left-hand carry. It will always be tip up. There's just no room to put it for tip down on this with this access lock. If you have this style of mechanism holding it, you could take this glass breaker off. It's a screw, machine screw. If you can find a way to get these 4 holes, something in there to unscrew it, you could clip it to a left-hand carry Maybe if you drive 4 nails very gingerly through some wood and then you clip the heads off or you level the tips. I don't know, you'd have to fashion your own little tool, I guess, for that. I so wish that they would have done it some other way. Maybe if they would have milled some flat sides on this, you could get some small pliers. That's one of the flaws in this knife, and there's very few flaws. But you could change it to left-hand carry if you work hard at it. Glass breaker, can opener. Look at that. Wire stripper right here. Bottle opener, you could use it as a bottle opener as well as a can opener, but it does have that sharp edge here for being a can opener. And you could use this tip a bit as an awl if you want. The mechanism that they use to hold these extra pieces is very tight. Listen to the snap when I open it. It just snaps open, and it's got hold at 90 degrees, and then it snaps closed. You're not going to have this thing accidentally open on you. It's much tighter than the detent on the blade. That will not open up. See how it just wants to go back? On the other side, we've got a cord cable cutter, seatbelt cutter in an emergency. Very sharp. It'll cut through a seatbelt like it's hardly there. And it's big and wide, so you don't have to be super precise to feed it in there, because in an emergency you're going to be feeling kind of stressed and you're just going to be kind of awkward. You just barely need to get this thing in the vicinity of the seatbelt and you'll be able to tear through that thing, no problem. Those are the extra tools: glass breaker, bottle opener, can opener, wire stripper, cord and cable cutter. All very good extra tools. It's got nice balance in the hand, nice weight carry. The weight's carried well throughout, I should say. This angular choil right here, at first I thought it would be uncomfortable. That choil is actually not uncomfortable at all. You've got your index finger in there, it just locks in, and it works really well. The jimping on the back here helps it to lock in. I really wish they would have put some jimping on this thumb ramp right here. That would work much better to hold your thumb. But otherwise, that's the only jimping on this knife. They don't need it here in this choil that I just talked about. It doesn't need it there. You can't choke up and use it. There's just no place to. But if there was that thumb ramp, it still works very good for carving. I carved some pine and it worked very well. Just this flat edge. Sorry, I didn't talk about the profile of that blade, did I? It's not a full flat. It's close to it. Just a small edge across the top is flat, so it's really good for most of your sharpening systems to get a nice lock on that and still be an almost full flat kind of knife. Of course, it's got the angular edge, and that edge is sharp and it cuts very well with this belly. I should have talked about those things when I talked about the blade, but you've got them now. That's what you get for watching this thing all the way through. You get the good stuff. All right, what else are we going to talk about? Its weight, as I mentioned. This is a heavy knife. This thing is 140 grams. It's just about 5 ounces. You'll get this thing dirty and it'll be 5 ounces. Just all you need is a couple specks of dirt. It's this bright yellow color. Just stands out. You can get it in 3 other colors as well. You can get it all black, and then you'll lose it in the field and somebody else will get a really nice knife. You can get it in green and you'll lose it in the grass. It's not a military green, but it's a nice dark green. Or you can get it in orange, and you'll be able to find that one as well. So half of them you'll be able to find, and half of them you can inadvertently gift to somebody else and make the world a happier place. What are the general uses for this thing? This is an excellent glove box knife. You stick it in your glove box in your car and it will sit there and wait for an emergency. Hopefully you'll never have to use it in that case. But it'll be ready. Or you can clip it onto your visor. It's a little bit heavy for an EDC. But I would like to use this knife as an EDC. I would use this knife as an EDC. Because in Canada, we can't carry knives for self-defense. We can carry a knife, but we can't call it a self-defense knife. If the authorities ask us why we have a knife and we say self-defense, we just lost that knife. We might have ourselves an appointment with a judge as well, or a fine. So it's really easy to explain that it's just, you use this knife as a tool. People in the UK know exactly what I'm talking about as well, with the kinds of laws that we have. You're asking about what is my general recommendation for this thing. I give this thing a 9.5 out of 10. The two little negatives that I mentioned, this jimping over here, and I can't even remember the other negative off the top of my head. The fact that this access lock is so tight and it takes a while to work it in. Hopefully, I haven't long tested this. Hopefully that stronger spring will mean that it lasts longer, and it might just last way longer than we ever need it to. Hopefully. All right, let's talk about how much this thing is going to cost you. How many shekels are you going to have to fork out to the man to get this thing? Well, I bought my knife at GearBest. Right now, it's April 22nd, 2016. At GearBest, this exact knife is $27.86 Canadian. That's $21.18 US. The other colors are a little bit cheaper, $26.49 and $20.14 respectively, between Canadian and American. That's a lot of money for a GearBest. Sorry, not a GearBest knife. Well, it's a lot of money for a GearBest knife, but it's a lot of money for a Ganzo knife. There's very few that are into the 20s. This is one of them. Is it worth it? I think so. I give this thing a 9.5 out of 10, as I mentioned. It just works really well, and it's got that excellent set of tools in case of an emergency. It's worth every penny, in my opinion. All right, so that's the Ganzo G735. If you're taking a look down at the number of subscribers and there's less than 50 listed there, then there's a competition open up. Not a competition, it'll be a draw. Every subscriber will be entered into the draw. I'll draw a name when we get to 50, and someone's going to win a knife from Ganzo at GearBest. You'll be able to pick whichever knife you want from Ganzo on GearBest, and I'll ship it to you. If there's more than 50 down there, take a look on my channel. Subscribe anyways, because there's probably another contest going on for subscribers. And like this video, please comment. You guys are the best. The knife community is just the best out there. What do you think of this knife? What do you think of these tools? Is there a better knife out there for the buck? Or any other comments that you have to make, I'd like to hear them. If you like this video, thank you for hitting like. If I've earned your subscription, please subscribe. If this knife intrigues you and you think your friends might like it, share. It's great to share these videos so other people can get to know my channel and get to know what's going on in the knife community. Again, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge. Always remember to cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Bye now.